to this live broadcast of the Senate, this being the afternoon of the 6th of April. The year is 2022. This broadcast is brought to you courtesy of Kenya Broadcasting Corporation in conjunction with the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation in conjunction with the Parliamentary Broadcasting Unit. You can also follow up on this live broadcast on our YouTube channel, that is on Senate of Kenya, as well as on KBC Channel 1. My name is Gladys Mungai, and I'll be taking you through the highlights in the order of business this afternoon. The Senate is set to consider a couple of bills as well as motions. Pursuant to Standing Orders number 159, the amendments of the National Assembly on the Mental Health Bill, this being Bill number 28 of the year 2020, will be considered by the Senate. The Landlord and Tenant Bill is also another bill that has been lined up for debate following the interruption of this particular debate on the 23rd of February 2020 during a morning sitting. Another motion that has been lined up before the floor this afternoon is the adoption of the report of the Session Committee on the County Public Accounts, as well as investment on the consideration of the reports of the Auditor General for the financial statements, and this is for various county executives for the financial year 2018-2019. These particular reports will be tabled by the Chairperson Sessional Committee on the County Public Accounts, as well as matters investment. The House will also be debating the reports by the Standing Committee on the Health on matters special audit on the utilization of COVID-19 funds by 28 county governments. And this particular motion is by the Chairperson Standing Committee on Matters Health. The Senate will then move into the Committee of the Whole, where the Committee of the Whole will be considering a couple of bills. And to just mention just a number of the bills that will be considered before the Committee of the Whole is the Intergovernmental Relations, this being Bill number 37 of 2021 of the Senate. The Law of Succession Amendment Bill, Bill number 15 of the year 2021, by nominated Senator Abshiro Halake, is also another bill that the Senate will resume debate on this afternoon. The Preservation of Human Dignity and Enforcement of Economics as well as Social Rights Bill, this being a bill by Abshiro Halake again, Bill number 21 of the year 2020. Also under the Committee of the Whole, the House will be considering the Lifestyle Audit Bill, Bill number 36 of the year 2021 by Senator Farhia Haji. The Street Vendors of Livelihood Bill and the Special Needs Education Bill are the last bills that will be considered under the Committee of the Whole. The Sugar Bill, this being a bill originating from the National Assembly, Bill number 68 of the year 2019, is a bill that will be debated before the floor this afternoon. The Irrigation Amendment Bill and the Elections Amendment Bill number 3. This is a bill from the Senate, Bill number 48 of the year 2021 by Senator for Nyeri County, Senator Ephraim Maina, is also another bill that has been lined up for debate before the floor this afternoon. The Senator for Vihiga County, Senator George Haniri, will, pursuant to Standing Orders number 47 subsection 1, be making a statement regarding the pollution of River Mara. Nominated Senator Naomi Shionga will, pursuant to Standing Orders 48 subsection 1, be seeking a statement, and this particular statement will be from the Standing Committee on Matters Agriculture, Livestock and Fisheries, and the statement is in regards to the report of the food crisis in the country. And this particular statement has been necessitated by the high cost of living that have seen the prices of food stuff skyrocket currently in the market. Eleven reports from the office of the
Honourable Senators,
General.
Wacheni tuombe. Ewe Mwenyezi Mungu, twakusihi tutazame kwa neema nyingi na baraka sisi watumishi wako ambao umeridhika kutuita kwa nyadhifa za uongozi katika jamhuri hii yetu. Twakuomba utujalie tuyatende na kuyafikiria mambo yote yatakayofikishwa mbele yetu kwa njia ya haki na uaminifu, ili kustawisha amani, ufanisi na heri ya nchi hii yetu na wale ambao haja zao umezikabidhi mikononi mwetu. Amin.
Order number 1, administration of oath. Order number 2, communication from the chair.
Honourable Senators, we have communication. Honourable Senators, as you are aware, on Tuesday, 29th March 2022, I issued a communication conveying the decision of the Senate Business Committee on the application of Part 29A of the Standing Orders regarding hybrid virtual plenary sitting. The effect of the communication was to suspend hybrid virtual plenary sitting with effect from 31st March 2022. Honourable Senators, owing to the urgency and the importance of the business pending before the Senate, and notwithstanding the dissolution of the Senate Business Committee that I have alluded to, I have again consulted the Senate Business Committee pursuant to Standing Order 251A 1A to reverse the decision in respect of tomorrow's sitting, Thursday, 7th April 2022. In this regard, I hereby direct that tomorrow's sitting, Thursday, 7th April 2022, be hybrid. This will enable senators who are out of town to participate in the plenary sitting. I thank you. Next order.
Ask.
Order number.
Mr. Speaker.
What is it, Senator Ephraim Maina?
Well, I appreciate your communication. I'm just wondering, is this hybrid, is it just for tomorrow? Because I'm about to suggest, you are aware of the temperament in the country in regard to what they call something for scamming elections, and most senators may be obliged to be sometimes not to be able to be in the House. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I'm asking, couldn't we continue with this hybrid, to the head of this Parliament, to the head of the Senate, Mr. Speaker? And again, nobody can say that COVID has gone. COVID has not gone yet. We are still told to be putting masks. We have been warned that, okay, you may remove mask when you are a bit of a distance, but continue putting mask, washing your hands, and the other protocols. Therefore, because of that and the temperament in the country regarding elections, couldn't it be better that we carry on with the business in the hybrid system?
Senator George Henry. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have had a look at the relevant standing order. That is standing order number 251, paragraph A. Mr. Speaker, although the standing order expressly says that it is you, in consultation with the Senate Business Committee, I think I want to really second, as you deliberate on this with your Business Committee, I want to fully second and support the proposal made by Engineer Ephraim Maina, the Senator for Nyeri. Mr. Speaker, yes, COVID is not gone completely, as he has stated. For that reason, I think we can still apply this particular provision, but more importantly, it is the times that we are in. Mr. Speaker, we are headed for elections. Parties are having their nominations around this time round. There's very serious business to be transacted. People want to be in their various constituencies and their various counties for the party primaries and the campaigns. And at the same time, they want to participate in the matters in the Senate. So I want to plead with you, Mr. Speaker, even as you go to deliberate on this with the Senate Business Committee, to consider virtual sitting for the remainder of this session, so that maybe the normal sittings can start in the new session. So I really want to fully support what Engineer Ephraim Maina has said. But secondly, I had wanted to raise on a point of order. The order paper for the day has not been posted on our tablets, so we can't follow what's happening, Mr. Speaker. Can you order that the order paper be posted?
Senator Faria.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I normally sit in this House most of the time, and from what I have observed, if we say a full House sitting, we might never get a quorum to transact any business in this House. And as you appreciate, this is not a House where whoever the number of people, majority of people who are in the House can vote on any matter. It is specific with specific numbers, and given what both Senator Khaniri and Senator Engineer Maina have, reaffirmed, that I think the hybrid system would work better for this House at this time, in terms of the political time. So I think I urge Senate Business, together with the Speaker, to rescind their decision in terms of having a hybrid sitting. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Petronia Lawere.
Thank you, Chair. Much has been said in support. I just want to agree with my colleagues, and especially the whip, who knows how difficult it is to whip members to get the numbers when there is a vote. If we resort to only physical sitting, has already expressed her frustration. There is no one better than her to express that frustration. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, it's our new reality. COVID brought in some other good things, like the virtual sitting, so that members, wherever they are able to participate, especially in this period where we are focused more on campaigns. And thirdly, Mr. Speaker, to avoid you writing letters, communication from the chair every time there'll be sittings, you'll have to be writing communication from the chair. It's a cumbersome process. So I agree that we resort to hybrid sitting for the remainder of this session. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Senators. I have heard you. The hybrid sitting, it's for tomorrow. Concerning what members have raised, the concern is that we are going to deliberate with the Senate Business Committee and make the decision accordingly. I order that the order paper be posted on our gadgets. Next order.
Order number 3, messages. Order number 4, petitions. Order number 5, papers.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the Senate today, 6th April 2022. The Public Finance Management National Government Amendment Regulations 2022, the Public Finance Management County Government Amendment Regulation 2015, Report of Auditor General on the Financial Statement of Nyandarua County Emergency Fund for the year ended 30th June 2019, Report of Auditor General on the Financial Statement of Nyandarua County Executive Committee members car loan and mortgage scheme fund for the year ended 30th June 2019, Report of Auditor General on the Financial Statement of Nakuru County Executive Car Loan and Mortgage Staff Scheme Fund for the year ended 30th June 2020, Report of Auditor General on the Financial Statement of Samburu County Bursaries Fund for the year ended 30th June 2020, Report of Auditor General on the Financial Statement of Kericho County Executive Staff Mortgage Scheme Fund for the year ended 30th June 2020, Report of Auditor General on the Financial Statement of Kericho County Assembly Staff Car Loan and Mortgage Scheme Fund for the year ended 30th June 2020, Report of Auditor General on the Financial Statement of Amatsi Water Service Company Limited for the year ended 30th June 2020, Report of Auditor General on the Financial Statement of Homa Bay County Water and Sanitation Company Limited for the year ended 30th June 2020. I thank you.
Chairperson, Standing Committee on Agriculture. Is there a member of Agriculture who is here? Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the Senate today, 6th April 2022. Report of Standing Committee on Agriculture, Livestock and Fisheries on the Cotton Industry Development Bill, Senate Bills number 55 of 2021. Thank you.
Chairperson, Standing Committee on Health. Any member of Health Committee? Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the Senate today, 6th April.
2, Ms. Damaris Kimani, Clerk Assistant. Honourable Senators, in our usual tradition of receiving and welcoming visitors to Parliament, I extend a warm welcome to them, and on behalf of the Senate and on my own behalf, wish them a fruitful visit. I thank you. Senator Gertrude Msuruve.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker, for the opportunity. I want to join you in welcoming the delegation from Murang'a County to come and benchmark in the Senate for 1 week. And indeed, this is very good because they're going to have hands-on with regards to legislation and seeing what exactly happens in the House. I know when it comes to issues of counties, the Senate, we are a serious House, and we are keen about ensuring that the devolution works, and we serve members of counties. Our core business is to represent the interests of the counties and ensure that the service delivery in the county. So there's need also for them to interact with with us and see how we do our businesses. And I wish Senator Kangata was here to also see members from Murang'a County coming to benchmark with us. Otherwise, Honourable Speaker, I join you in this. Thank you.
Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion. Order number 7, statements.
Senator George Haneri.
Mr. Speaker, I thank you for the opportunity. I rise pursuant to the provisions of our standing orders, number 47, in particular paragraph 1.
wa Mto Mara ambao huu uchafuzi unapelekea kumaliza kivutio ambacho ni hiyo Mara Migration. Mheshimiwa Spika, ningependa kusema kwamba ni jambo la kutia moyo kwamba kuna wananchi bado wanaona kuna umuhimu wa utalii na zile pesa zinazokuja kutokana na utalii. Na ningependa kusema kwamba serikali pia ni lazima ijifunge kibwebwe na iangalie kwamba kuna wananchi wanaoangazia umuhimu wa utalii, na wao pia watie bidii zaidi ili kuzuia yale matukio ambayo yanazuia uendelezaji ama maendeleo ya wananchi wenyewe kwa sababu ya kukinzana kwa wanyama pori na wananchi. Mheshimiwa Spika, nikiongea hivyo ni kwa sababu ile pesa inayokuja kutokana na Mara ni pesa nyingi sana, hasa kwa kaunti ya Narok. Ningependa kusema kwamba kaunti zingine pia zisaidiwe ili mbuga za wanyama zithibitiwe na wanyama pori wasiingie maeneo ya wananchi, kwa sababu kuna wananchi tayari wanaangalia umuhimu wa kivivutio vya utalii kutokana na wanyama pori. Basi pia serikali ijizatiti kupunguza hii tunayoita human wildlife conflict. Mheshimiwa Spika, tulikuwa Geneva kwa Conference of Parties, na kule Geneva watu waliamua ama ulimwengu wote uliamua ya kwamba kupunguza human wildlife conflict kunahitaji mambo mawili, Mheshimiwa Spika. La kwanza ni kujenga nyaya za stima ili kuweka baria kati ya wananchi na ama kuweka waya kati ya wananchi na wanyamapori. La pili lilikuwa ni kulipa fidia kwa wakati unaofaa. Na Mheshimiwa Spika, tulipitisha hapa katika Senate mswada ambao unaitwa Wildlife Management Act Amendment Bill, ambayo tuliangazia kitu cha kwanza kilikuwa ni kulipa fidia kwa wakati unaofaa. Mheshimiwa Spika, nikiongea saizi kuna watu ambao ng'ombe zao zimeliwa na wanyamapori, chakula yao imeliwa na wanyamapori miaka mingi iliyopita, kuanzia 2013, 2014 na mpaka sasa hawajalipwa fidia. Langu ni kuuliza serikali ya kwamba tunafurahia ule ushuru tunaopata kutokana na utalii unaoletwa na wanyamapori, lakini pia na wao wajizatiti ili kusaidia watu wetu wawekewe hizo nyaya za stima kuzuia maangamizi yanayotokana na mbuga za wanyama, na pia walipwe fidia kwa wakati unaofaa. Katika ule mkutano uliokuwa Geneva, Mheshimiwa Spika, watu wa SADC countries ambao South Africa, Botswana na Mozambique walisema kwamba wanataka wakubaliwe kuuza pembe za ndovu ili walipe fidia watu wao kwa wakati unaofaa. Lakini Mheshimiwa Spika, ule mkutano ulikataa kwa sababu ingepelekea kuuawa kwa ndovu zaidi, kwa sababu ni vigumu kutambua kama hizi pembe za ndovu zinatokana na wanyama waliokufa wenyewe ama kama wameuawa. Katika huo mkutano pia Japan iliulizia ikubaliwe kununua pembe za ndovu ambao wamekufa wenyewe, lakini pia ulimwengu ulikataa kufanya hivyo kwa sababu ingekuwa kama incentive ya kufanya kuua ndovu zaidi. Kwa hivyo Mheshimiwa Spika, nashukuru kwa hii statement na ningechangia kwamba tuendelee kulinda wanyama wetu kwa sababu ni kivutio kizuri cha ushuru unaotokana na utalii, lakini pia serikali jizatiti ifunge buti ili kuzuia hiyo hasara inayoletwa na wanyamapori. Kwetu kule Taita Taveta, wananchi wa Taita Taveta ni watu wenye bidii, ni watu wanalima, ni watu wanafuga ng'ombe, na tuko na rangeland zaidi ya 1.4 million acres, lakini hatupati faida yoyote kwa sababu wanyamapori wanakula ng'ombe, wanakula mbuzi, wanakula chakula ya wananchi na hakuna fidia inakuja. Mwaka uliopita tulisukuma kidogo tukapata milioni 20 ya fidia lakini tunadai zaidi ya milioni 200 kutokana na serikali ya Kenya ambayo hawataki kulipa wananchi wetu. Na hata kuna mtu mmoja ambaye alisema, anasimama saizi useneta, anasema yeye akiingia useneta atakuwa anaua ndovu, kwa sababu anafikiria kwamba tukiua ndovu ndio tutapata manufaa. Lakini ukweli ni kwamba ndovu ni utamaduni wetu. It's part of our national heritage. Kwa hivyo mimi napenda kusema kwamba serikali lazima ifunge buti ili kutusaidia kwa hii human wildlife conflict. Asante Mheshimiwa Speaker.
Asante Senator Mwaruma, na wale ambao nitakaopatia fursa waongee kwa muda mchache ndio tuweze kujadili haya maneno mengine yaliyoko. Na nakubaliana na Mwaruma ya kwamba jambo la fidia limekuwa ni swala nyeti, na si wanyama peke yake wanaoshambuliwa, na si mimea peke yake wale wanyama wa porini wanashambulia hata binadamu. Ukitembea sehemu nyingine hata Laikipia unapata kilio ni hicho na hakuna kufidiwa. Senator Sylvia Kasanga.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to also add my views and thoughts on Senator Haniri's statement, and I want to wish him well in his bid for the governor seat of Vihiga County. Mr. Speaker, this is a very critical statement, and issues of our rivers and the cleanliness of our rivers, not just affecting wildlife but also affecting us as the population of this country, are so critical. We've dealt with this significantly also at committee, and for those of us who participated in the climate change conversations, these are conversations that have been had even in the committees while we were at COP26, that it is high time that we prioritize the cleaning up of our rivers, because we are really killing our own livelihoods and those of the futures of our population. And it's interesting now when I read this statement that the water pollution is so bad that even the animals are getting affected. So clearly it is not even fit for human consumption for that matter, or even for the plants and the flora and the fauna around these rivers. And then you wonder, in a country like ours, 200 hotels and camps that are discharging untreated waste into the Mara River. I mean, how can that happen? Yet we are not at loss for laws. We have watchdogs like NEMA who are there. How can this be overlooked? It's a very serious situation. There's so many interventions that are there currently in this country that can save these, companies and hotels from discharging untreated waste into the Mara River. We have very good, biodigesters that can be used, for such purposes that are currently in use in this country. And so it's not even a question of policy. It's not even a question of law. It becomes a question of implementation. Where are the people who are supposed to oversee that, companies can adhere to the standards that are set for some of these things? It's really a travesty. And when it comes to issues of fertilizers, insecticides, and agrochemicals, again, Kenya, we have ratified a lot of protocols, to do with climate change and to do with, making sure our food production follows certain kinds of, fertilizers and insecticides and things like that. And these are things that we just need the people who are supposed to be working to make sure that, Kenyans are doing the right things are just working. It seems like something happened somewhere, and we don't have any more people going out there to make sure Kenyans are doing what needs to be done. And it is really a sad thing, Madam Speaker. So I just want to appreciate, Mr. Speaker, I just want to appreciate this statement and the weight of it, and to realize that, the more we become urbanized, and the more we are not planning also for our wildlife corridors. And I can tell you this because here in Kitengela, where I reside, the corridors from the Nairobi National Park into the wildlife conservancies that are within the Machakos area, those corridors have been blocked. So you find the animals cannot move around again. And, this is the cost of urbanization and not planning for how, human beings and animals coexist. Yet we know how much as a country we value our wildlife, how much it brings into our country as an income earner. And again, that goes to our planning people in our urban centers. While they're planning these things, what happens when you consider, why are we not prioritizing, this relationship between human beings and the animals and how they can coexist for the betterment of our country? So I want to thank Senator Vihiga for this statement. I appreciate it, and I truly hope that the next government that we are going to form in Azimio, we shall look into these things, because these are questions of implementation, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much.
Senator Gertrude Msurve.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to support this statement by Senator Haniri. And I thank him for bringing this statement on the floor of this House. And Honourable Speaker, when it comes to issues of water, water is life, and the sources of water must be cherished. The sources of water must be protected, because there's very many parts of this country that do not have water. Like it is very clear that even in some parts of Nairobi, Northeastern and all over, people will talk about water not being there. So there's need for sources of water to actually be protected, enhanced, and to ensure that the sources of water are also being utilized well, because Mara is a source of water and water is life. And when we look at the statement of Senator Haniri, one is left to ask, what are the ecosystem services available in Kenya, in county governments? We are bound to question, they need to even investigate the ecosystem services that are there in the counties, ecosystem services that ensure the well-being of plants, the well-being of animals, the well-being of human beings, and the well-being of everything, Honourable Speaker, because human beings coexist with also other animals, and even animals have their own benefits when you look at the tourist industry. And also, Honourable Speaker, when we talk of pollution of our water, we're also looking at the fish farmers being affected negatively. And when it comes to fish industry, it is a which groups 177 million people. Peace takes place annually on 6th of April. The day presents an opportunity to recognize the positive role sports and physical activity play in communities and in people's lives across the globe. Sports has power to change the world. It is a fundamental right and a powerful tool to strengthen social ties and promote sustainable development and peace, as well as solidarity and respect for all. Indeed, sports is ideally positioned to contribute towards the United Nations objectives for development and peace. To raise awareness of this potential, 6th April was declared as the International Day of Sports for Development and Peace by the UN in its resolution 67-96, establishing the day. Honourable Speaker, in recognition of sports' broad influence, the global theme of this year is securing a sustainable and peaceful future for all. That is the contribution of sports, which creates an opportunity for the day's celebration to promote the use of sports as a tool to advance human rights and sustainable development. Under this theme, UN headquarters in New York will recognize the role of sports in addressing the climate crisis and will highlight actions to lower greenhouse gas emissions and mitigate against climate change. Honourable Speaker, sports is in a unique position to display leadership, to take responsibility for its carbon footprint, engage in a climate neutral journey, incentivize action beyond the sporting sector, and play a major role in amplifying the awareness among its billions of spectators, facilitators, and participants at all levels. With the need for urgent action growing more dire every day, the relationship between sport and climate must be better understood, and ways of developing policies and taking concrete action to help reverse the impact of climate change through sports must be communicated to as wide an audience as possible. Honourable Speaker, sports has immense benefits, including individual development, health promotion and disease prevention, promotion of gender equality, peace building and conflict prevention, resolution, economic development, communication and social mobilization, among other benefits. Sports has proven to be a cost-effective and flexible tool in promoting peace and development, and is also an important enabler of sustainable development. It also empowers men, youth, women, and persons with disabilities at individual level. Honourable Speaker, as we join the rest of the world in commemorating this important day, I would like to acknowledge and celebrate all the men and women who have flown the flag of Kenya high in sports. Some of these personalities are Paul Telgat, Henry Wanyoike, Catherine Dereba, the late Samuel Wanjiro, Edwin Kipchumba, Betty Cheriot, Alfred Diego, Veronica Wanjiro, among other athletes. We have also had famous rally drivers in Kenya worth celebrating, including the likes of Patrick Njiru, Joginda Singh, Sheikh Ameta, and so on. Famous swimmers such as David Danford, Acheng Ajulu,
Thank you.
Asante Senator Sakaja. Ulipokuwa ukisema kwamba utabadilisha uga wa City Stadium uite Joka Ndege, niliona Mwaruma akitingiza kichwa kukubaliana na wewe kabisa. I want to invite Senator Mwaruma to read his 3 statements.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity to go through my 3 statements. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 48.1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Land, Environment and Natural Resources regarding the status of Nyangoro Water Project in Taita Taveta County. In the statement, the committee should 1. State whether the project was tendered, providing details of who won the award. 2. State the quoted cost of the project to completion. 3. Give the status of the actual work done on the project, specifying the source of funds and the amount of funds spent. And 4. Provide a detailed assessment of the source of water, tabling the quality test report by the Water Resource Authority, certifying the water as fit for human consumption. The second statement, Mr. Speaker, is on non-payment of claims by insurance companies. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 48.1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Labour and Social Welfare regarding non-payment of claims by insurance companies, specifically those owed to Ms. Mary Ngina, the legal representatives of the estate of the late Godfrey Ngereri Kireti, despite a court decree on 14th October 2019. In the statement, the committee should 1. Explain the process of payment of claims by insurance company, especially in the circumstances where the principal member dies interstate. 2. State the reasons for the delay by the African Merchant Assurance Company, AMACO, of payment of claims due to Ms. Mary Ngina in her capacity as the legal representative of the estate of the late Godfrey Ngereri Kireti, pursuant to a declaratory suit in CMCC number 42-1 of 2019. Mary Ngina versus African Merchant Assurance Company Limited, AMACO. 3. State when the beneficiaries of the late Godfrey Ngereri Kireti will be paid. And 4. Outline the targeted interventions the committee will take to ensure swift justice against companies such as AMACO who deliberately delay to honor their obligations despite numerous attempts by victims to seek justice. Third statement, Mr. Speaker, is on the unfair dismissal from employment of Mr. Levins Mwanyalo by the former Provincial Administration and Internal Security Department. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to the Standing Order 48.1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Labour and Social Welfare regarding the unfair dismissal from employment of Mr. Levins M. Mwanyalo, who was employed as a driver by the Office of the President in the Department of Provincial Administration and Interior in Taita District in 2008, personal file number 2008-17-2932, and dismissed in October 2013. In the statement, the committee should 1. Explain the process of dismissal of public officers, especially those employed by the Public Service Commission under the national government. 2. explain reasons for the dismissal of Mr. Manyalo, stating whether due process was followed, and 3, state when Mr. Manyalo will be reinstated and compensated for the wrongful dismissal. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Eric Omogeni.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, thank you for giving me the opportunity to support and make a comment on the statement that has been read by Senator Maruma on non-payment of insurance claims by a company by the name Amaco. Mr. Speaker, many years ago, this country enacted a compulsory third vehicle insurance cover by enacting Cap 405 laws of Kenya. Mr. Speaker, the purpose of that particular legislation was to put in place a mechanism whereby people who are having either private or commercial vehicles would take insurance cover from reputable insurance companies so that in the event that an accident happens, like the one being referred to by Senator Maruma, the company would compensate the victim. And Mr. Speaker, as you know, in this country, it is illegal and it's a traffic offense if you drive a car without a third-party cover. So it's actually compulsory in our laws. But the problem that we have been facing for many years, Mr. Speaker, is that most insurance companies are incorporated to collect premiums from very unsuspecting business people, especially those in the matatu industry. And these premiums are diverted. People do investments using the premiums, and they leave the company, the insurance companies insolvent. In that, when claims are taken to court and judgments are issued against the insured person, the insurance companies are not able to pay that compensation and satisfy the court decrees, which really is unfortunate, Mr. Speaker. I know people who have faced a lot of untold suffering because of the inability of insurance companies to make good judgments that are issued by our courts of law, which is really unfortunate. Because, Mr. Speaker, if you enter into a contract with a very innocent Kenyan, you receive their premiums, and the contract stipulates that in the event of an accident you will compensate the victim, then I don't see the reason why the victim should not be compensated, like the one that we are facing this afternoon from Maruma. And Mr. Speaker, oftentimes these companies are owned by very well-connected Kenyans. Like I've had mention of the owners of Amaco are fairly rich people, highly connected politically in this country. They have used this, the money that has been paid by people who have taken insurance covers from these companies to become billionaires. But they cannot compensate poor Kenyans like this particular claimant, Mr. Speaker. It's really unfortunate, Mr. Speaker. And I don't know, I hope the committee that is up, whether you are you have high connections politically, this is serious business. If you are not able to run your company in a way that it can meet its obligations, close shop, go home. I support, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Sakaja.
Mr. Speaker, there's a huge issue around insurance. I've been talking to a lot of, especially the PSV operators in Nairobi, Just recently, I was talking to Mrs. Mary Mwange. I'm sure you know what was called double M buses. The woes that are facing that sector are critical. Mr. Speaker, I understand insurance very well professionally, and it speaks to many issues, Mr. Speaker, including the kind of actuarial valuations being done for the premiums to be set, because people are looking just for business, yet are not able to properly underwrite a lot of this. Mr. Speaker, I'd like, of course, I've had speakers trying to get excited about one company. Mr. Speaker, it's a sector-wide issue that needs to really be looked at. Many of unsuspecting Kenyans, starting from brokerage, are paying premiums through brokers. Those premiums are not reflecting, and so when they get accidents, Mr. Speaker, you find that even the actual insurance company does not know the other person was not covered. They're printing fake stickers across the country. Mr. Speaker, if you look at many Kenyans unsuspectingly, on their windscreens, probably even colleagues in this house, on your windscreen you have a sticker of insurance, but you're not insured. Yeah? Because they have not been told how to verify the insurance that they get through a short code or through the QR code that is provided for in that sticker. Mr. Speaker, additionally, I think the rates, there was an increase of these rates recently, and this entire sector has not really been looked at. So I think this is an opportunity, even as a specific case that Senator Maruma has brought is looked at. The committee should not squander this inquiry, even when they bring the Insurance Regulatory Authority and different stakeholders. They should not squander this opportunity by, not expanding it to actually address the woes. Otherwise, tomorrow there'll be another one, tomorrow there'll be another one. Mr. Speaker, many of my matatu operators in Nairobi have been pushed out of business because of these claims. And because of, accidents do happen, and of course we don't wish for them to happen. The reason you insure is to make sure that in case anything happens, Mr. Speaker, you're able to be covered. Mr. Speaker, many of them are taking cover without looking at what we call insurer's interest. Mr. Speaker, insurer's interest means in the sector that for you to insure a property, whether it is a vehicle or a house, you must own it. You must have insurable interest in that sector. But people are buying it almost like, like buying bread. Of course, we want penetration to go up. Currently, this country's insurance penetration is below 6%, actually below 5%. And that speaks to a lot. People don't have insurance, health insurance. The only thing that is insured is because the law will catch up with you if your car is not. But if it was up to people to decide whether to be insured or not, many of them would not. So I hope that the Committee on Finance, I think that's where it's going to, will be able to address this entire sector and help us know what government needs to do, what we need to do. If there are rogue players in the sector, they need to be dealt with according to the law. So the IRA has questions to answer, and so does Treasury. Thank you, Senator Maruma, for bringing that.
Senator Moses Wetangula.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to salute my distinguished friend and colleague from Taita Taveta for bringing this statement to the floor of this House. Mr. Speaker, although the statement is a narrow one, narrowing to Mama Mary Ngina, who has not been paid the insurance, but it opens a much wider scope that whichever committee needs to look at this issue actually needs to be broad-minded and look at the issues that those who have spoken before me have spoken. Mr. Speaker, insurance in many countries is the hope and salvation of the citizens, particularly if you go to developed democracies and developed societies like Europe. In fact, funds accumulated in insurance savings are what turns the economies of those countries. Here, Mr. Speaker, insurance is synonymous with fraud, cheating, dishonesty, and all manner of things, Mr. Speaker. There was a small insurance company in this country that used to insure matatus called Access. That insurance went down with billions of unsettled claims. People and it is specialized in insuring matatus, Mr. Speaker. And every matatu rolling, people dying, people maimed, people disabled, went down without any compensation. Today, Mr. Speaker, as we call upon Merchant Assurance Company or AMACO to pay Meringina, I also want to ask the committee to pay attention to what is going on at NHIF, a public insurance undertaking for health. Mr. Speaker, you'll be surprised that almost 3/4 of the payments from NHIF goes to private hospitals that attend less than 15% of Kenyans who need health care. Kenyans who go to public hospitals hardly get NHIF underwriting their hospital bills. All the monies are paid to big hospitals with big names, hospitals that attend hardly 15-20% of Kenyans when they fall sick. And that's why, Mr. Speaker, we want to assure Kenyans that the Kenya Kwanza government that is around the corner is going to revolutionize the manner in which public health insurance is run in this country, to the extent that we will not only make sure every single Kenyan is covered by insurance, but that the insurance provided will carry absolute responsibility in case of requirement to underwrite the needs of the insured Kenyans. We need also, Mr. Speaker, as I finish, and as Senator Maruma, when you prosecute your statement before the committee, we need to push, and this House has a residual responsibility to do this, to carry out a wide inquiry on the manner in which insurance business and insurance responsibilities are carried out in this country, Mr. Speaker. We have an office called Commission of Insurance or something like that. This one that used to have a fellow called Makove. What is it called? RBA or something? IRA. Apart from the name, and the name that sounds like a terrorist organization in Ireland, Mr. Speaker, they do nothing. You remember the IRA in Ireland, the kind of destruction they caused to the people of Northern Ireland. You don't hear of them. They don't supervise insurance companies. The only time you hear about them is when they're raising premiums, and nothing else. People are not paid their claims. They do nothing. At least you hear about Central Bank punishing banks that don't adhere to the code of behavior. IRA, Mr. Speaker, are just there consuming resources creamed from insurance companies and sporting around a name that is not very good to mention, Mr. Speaker. And we want to look at this whole profile of the insurance legal framework in the country and see how Kenyans can benefit. We want to see, Mr. Speaker, like where you come from, stock insurance, so that the banditry that goes on in your county, insurance responsibility should be available to helpless farmers. Crop insurance, you plant your maize, some storms come and ravage your farm, insurance cover is there. In countries like Zimbabwe, they have it. You have, Mr. Speaker, a fish pond with stocks of fish. A hurricane comes and breaks off your banks and all the fish is washed away. You are paid insurance.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
What is it, Senator Okongo Mugeni?
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, I just wanted to make a follow-up to Senator Faria and remind her that Senator Moses Wetangula is a very distinguished lawyer. When he says Jubilee government, he means the entire Jubilee government. He knows that under Article 147, we have the president, and the principal assistant to the president is one William Ruto. So when he says Jubilee government has failed, he means the president plus William Ruto. And I hope that the government is talking about will not include William Ruto, because he's part of the failure he has condemned this afternoon.
What is it, Senator Wetangula?
Mr. Speaker, I want to remind Senator Farhia, my distinguished good friend and wife to my very dear friend, and the Senator for Nyamira, my distinguished learned junior, that if they have a moment, they should read a book called God's Bits of Wood by Semben Osman, where there is a lady there who is blind called Maimuna. And she says she has never quite understood how and why people with eyes don't see. Mr. Speaker, we have the de jure Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya called William Ruto. And we have the de facto Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya called Raila Amolo Odinga.
Senator Gertrude Musuruve.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker, for the opportunity. I want to support the statement by Senator Mwaruma, and especially on the issue of Godfrey, who died. And Honourable Speaker, when it comes to issues of insurance firms are usually very fast in making follow-ups for people to have insurances, deductions and all that. Like if your car insurance expires even tomorrow, they'll be on your neck for you to actually, reinsure your car. But when it comes to issues of indemnity, they're very slow in processing, the indemnity in order to actually indemnify those who have insured their properties and all that. And it is a sort of state that the family of Godfrey has not been indemnified, simply because I'm sure he has children and the family is going through harrowing moments because he is not there to defend himself. And so the process that the dependents are going through in order to be indemnified should be fast-tracked, Honourable Speaker. It is a very painful state and a sort of state that this insurance company is dragging its feet in compensating or indemnifying the family of Godfrey. And Honourable Speaker, I would also like to comment on another statement that Senator Mwaruma has brought on the floor of this House concerning the unfair dismissal of one person of someone who was, dismissed unfairly, and there's need for an investigation to be done on the reasons as to why he was, he was dismissed. Are the reasons justifiable? Are they to do with integrity? Are they to do with employee maybe not really going by the ethics of the organization? And if it is unfair dismissal from the employer, then there's need for sustainable compensation, because Honourable Speaker, the act of being dismissed even without notice at all renders one frustrated. And Senator Kasanga has been talking many times on the floor of this House the reason for mental anguish on people, and these are some of the issues that bring mental anguish on people. If you wake up one morning and you are dismissed, this is something that you have not planned. You have a family, and maybe you have taken a a long-term loan. So how do you repay? So there is need for the committee to do investigations and ensure that whatever happens should be fair, should be just, and there must be a sustainable solution to this employee who was actually dismissed, Honourable Speaker. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity. I thank Senator Mwaruma also for bringing these issues on the floor of this House. Thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Because ordinarily, as per the standing orders that we recreated, it is normally, well, that's what I'm going to consult on that. So, no, which one? Because we normally send this thing to departmental committees so that we can get from the executive. But in a situation like this, I do not think I would be expecting, because where would the Public Accounts Committee be coming from?
I'm a member of the Public Accounts Committee, and I'm sure the clerk will help you. The speaker, the substantive speaker, made a communication on the floor of this House on how forensic audit can be sought by Parliament, mainly through Public Accounts Committee and Public Investment Committee. So if you read the communication of Speaker Muturi, it is only the Public Accounts Committee or the Public Investment Committee that has the mandate on behalf of the House to write to the Auditor General on any matter that concerns audit. And this is an audit issue, and that is why, and the Speaker, of course, I'm a ranking member. I did my homework very well. Even I read the communication.
Even if you did, the Honourable Dwale, you are actually asking for a statement from the Chairperson Public Accounts Committee. Yeah, so that is where, so that is the thing that I want to consult on, because it is something that is that I want to consult on that. So I don't think we need to open up this thing, because it is better. It is better, because I am trying to see, because the option that I have is to simply send it out to the Public Accounts Committee. But as to how we are going to ask them to read out a statement, like every other committee, a departmental committee or otherwise, is something that we would want to confirm. But maybe I would give 2 members only. You know, honourable members, you cannot. I think sometimes also you must be respectful. You see, you cannot guide me from where I sit here. It is not possible. What I'm just saying is that it is something that I want to confirm. I do not think where the problem is in that particular one. If we can be talking about not the issues that arise out of this, but whether we should expect a statement from the Public Accounts Committee. The Honourable Dwale was part of the team that we crafted the appearance of ministers and responding to statements. So even if it is communication that I'm going to ask for Honourable Dwale, of course I'll have to look at it. So the option I have is whether I want to open it up for members to give comments. In the meantime, I make that quick consultation. So you cannot, Honourable Pukose, if you really do not want to make a statement, that is absolutely fine. But you have just said yourself that you are not interested. So I will give 2 members, one from this side and one from the other. So let's start with the Honourable Sankok. You want to say something on this particular one? Yes, let's hear.
Honourable Speaker, this is a very important statement, because public